Okay, so today I am going to be showing you guys how to make one of my favorite treats. They are no bake, so they require absolutely no baking, and they are super easy, super fast. They are energy bites. To start, these are some of the ingredients that you are going to need. I have them laid out here for you to see. Unfortunately, my footage kind of cut out as I was recording them, so you are not going to be able to see all of them up close, but I will still describe them to you. So the first ingredient that I have for you is coconut flakes. I prefer to use sweetened coconut flakes just for a little bit of added sweetness. You can definitely use unsweetened if you want to. The next ingredient are mini chocolate chips. I have found that using the larger chocolate chips can be a little difficult to handle, and you have to make the energy bites a little bit bigger, so using the mini ones is definitely helpful. Next, we have flax seeds. I used brown flax seeds, and I also used chia seeds. These add a lot of added nutrients to them. This is where most of the energy in the energy bites comes from. You can pretty much find it in like any organic aisle. Next is oats. You are going to want to use dry oats. You cannot use wet oats, otherwise they will not hold, and I use the old-fashioned style. What's nice is they come in these large containers, so you can use them multiple times without them running out. Next is honey. As you can see, I did not have very much honey left. I actually had just enough for this recipe, so you're going to need about a third cup of honey. Next is peanut butter, and there are a lot of different peanut butter options, and you can definitely substitute any of these ingredients. You can use crunchy peanut butter, non-crunchy. You could use almond butter if you wanted to. I just used Jif Naturals. And I used creamy peanut butter because I didn't want to deal with the peanuts, because that can also make it hard to form the balls. So I just used the natural creamy peanut butter. And then next, you're just going to need a couple of measuring cups. You're going to need 1 cup. You're going to need a 2/3 cup. I just used a 1/3 cup, and I doubled the amount for when I needed 2/3 of some of my ingredients. And you're also going to need a 1/2 cup, a teaspoon, and a tablespoon. Finally, you are going to need a large mixing bowl. This is pretty much the only dish that you're actually going to need to mix this in. You are also going to need plastic baggies. You can definitely use a giant spoon if you want to. I like to use my hands, and because there is honey and peanut butter in it, I have found that it can be difficult to wash my hands afterwards, so I like to put my hands in plastic baggies. 3 things I did not mention in the what you are going to need category is a baking sheet. You are also going to need wax paper to put on top of the baking sheet. This way it's easy to clean off, and it's really no mess because it all falls on the wax paper. And you're also going to need, this one's optional, but you might need a spoon. I use like a mini ice cream scooper. It's something that has definitely come in handy for me, but you definitely don't need. You can always just use your hands or a regular spoon. Okay, so to start, you are going to need a lot of your dry ingredients. So you're going to need your 1 cup of the old-fashioned oats, and pour those into the bowl along with 2/3 coconut flakes. I only had a 1/3 cup. I did the coconut in 2 separate parts. Then I added the 1/2 cup of flax seeds. I know it seems like a lot, but it's actually the perfect amount. And then I added the other 1/3 cup of coconut, and I added 1/2 cup of mini chocolate chips to the bowl. So what you'll need to do next is add your 1/3 cup of honey, and then your 1/2 cup of peanut butter. So here's what it all looks like together. And then I added my tablespoon of chia seeds. Again, it looks like a lot, but it's really not. And finally, I added my teaspoon of vanilla extract. And this is what it all looks like put together, and now comes the fun part where we get to mix it all together. So to do that, you're going to need your 2 plastic baggies to put on your hands. As you can see, I struggled trying to get some of the plastic baggies open, but I did finally get it. So once you have the baggies on your hands, you can proceed to mix it all together. It's going to feel really weird. It's going to seem hard to do at first, but the more you mix it, the easier it gets. It will stick to the baggies, so you can just readjust the baggies as they come off your hands, and eventually you will get it all mixed together until it's basically in a giant blob like this. Now you're just going to set it in the fridge to cool for about 10 to 15 minutes. Cooling it in the fridge will make it a lot easier for you to handle. It'll leave a lot less residue on your hands as you roll it all into balls. So now you are going to need your mixture, your scooper, your spoon, maybe your hands, and your baking sheet with the wax paper to set the balls on. I just took the scoop and I scooped it, and once I had a good amount, I pressed it into the scoop, packed it together, and then I used my hands to form it into the shape that I wanted. I just did typical balls. So I just rolled it in my hands until it was nicely formed and packed together. Again, having it chilled left little residue on my hands. This is about how big they are. So just keep on rolling them out. My batch made about a dozen energy bites, and that really depends on just how large you want the bites to be. So you can adjust the measurements of all the ingredients to how many you're planning to make. And I did have to return the bowl to the fridge. As I was making the balls, I realized that the mixture was getting sticky and it was starting to leave a lot of peanut butter on my hands, and the balls weren't really staying together as they had been before. So if this happens, just return your mixture to the fridge for another maybe 5 to 10 minutes and then continue to roll out the rest of your energy bites. Here's what my hands looked like at the end. You can see there's barely anything on them, so chilling your mixture is really important for this process. It makes cleanup a lot easier, and it makes just forming the balls a lot easier in general. And here's what they looked like. So then just set those in the fridge. You can set them in there for about 15 minutes and they'll be pretty set up and ready to use. You can just leave them in the fridge until they're gone, or you can put them into a bowl and eat them as you please. So here's what they looked like in the end, and I can say they tasted delicious. So I hope you liked this video, and thanks for watching.